the lie I lived. My name is Marcus, and for nearly 2 years, I poured every ounce of love into a little boy. I fed him, bathed him, stayed awake when fevers kept him restless, believing with all my heart that I was his father. In every way that mattered, I thought I was. But the truth has a way of tearing through shadows. It doesn't wait. It doesn't knock. It arrives uninvited. And when it does, it doesn't just shatter your heart. It shakes the very ground beneath everything you thought was real. She never intended for me to discover it. Harper, the woman I trusted, the mother of that boy, never wanted me to know. But I did. And the way it surfaced was an unplanned, quiet slip that rewrote my life forever. I'd met Harper long before romance was even in question. Back then, we were nothing more than friends. The kind of friendship that felt easy, natural. We could talk endlessly about life, about the world, or about nothing at all. She was sharp, witty, and carried a calmness that made people feel safe around her. I never once looked at her in a romantic way, and she never hinted otherwise. We lived our separate lives, respected those lines, until one evening when she called me out of the blue. I'll never forget her tone. Low, cracked, tired. Not just lack of sleep tired, but the kind that sits deep in the bones. "Are you home?" she asked. "Yeah," I answered. I just need someone to talk to. Can I come over?" "Of course. Come by." She arrived half an hour later, and I can still see her standing there, the weight of the world on her shoulders. Her eyes swollen, the kind that showed too little rest or too many tears. Maybe both. I didn't press her. I just listened as she poured it all out. Work stress. Feeling stuck. Life pressing in. She sounded drained, stripped thin. Time slipped by, the room grew quieter, and before we realized, it was nearly midnight. "I should probably call a ride," she whispered, pulling her phone. I offered to call one for her, but she hesitated. Just a pause. And in that pause, something shifted. "It's fine," she murmured. "I'll just crash here." I insisted she take my bed, and I'd take the couch. But she looked me in the eye and said, "We can both use the bed. It's fine." And that was the moment everything changed. I didn't push, didn't assume. But when we laid side by side, the space between us dissolved. First small touches, then ones that carried meaning. Not just lust, but something heavier. Maybe comfort. Maybe need. Two people, leaning toward each other in the dark. It wasn't planned, but it happened. And that single night spilled into something neither of us had imagined. 2 months later, Harper called again. I had just come home from work, heating leftovers, when my phone buzzed. I expected small talk. Instead, I heard 3 words that froze me. "I'm pregnant." My body stilled. My breath vanished. I wasn't angry, just stunned. Before I could form a word, she added, "I'm keeping it." That was it. That was the line. And strangely, I thought, okay, I had always wanted kids. Neither of us had partners. We were adults who made a choice, reckless, yes, but still a choice. So I stepped up. From then on, we were in it together. Appointments, baby shopping, midnight cravings. Somewhere in that rhythm, we stopped being just co-parents. We leaned closer. We became official. I asked her to move in. We were trying to build something real. When our son was born, I was there. I held him in my arms, and something inside me shifted. His tiny fingers clutched mine, and in that instant, my world changed. I wasn't just Marcus anymore. I was Dad. I worked harder, paid the rent, covered the bills, made sure Harper could heal. I wasn't doing her a favor. I was doing what a father should. And I loved that boy. Every giggle, every stumble, every first step, I was there. So, when he turned 1, I thought, why not make it permanent? I bought a ring. No rehearsed speech, no fireworks. Just bent my knee and said, I want to raise our son together as husband and wife. She said yes, with a smile that felt real. We began planning the wedding. Then came the day everything cracked. Harper's sister, Jenna, came to stay. She said it was to help with wedding plans. Everything seemed happy, normal. Until one night, I returned from a walk, but instead of using the front door, I slipped in through the back. That small choice destroyed everything. Voices in the kitchen. I wasn't trying to listen, but then I heard Harper. "He's a good man," she said. "But I can't keep living like I owe him. He chose this. I never forced him. I only said I was pregnant. I never told him he was the father." My chest froze. Then Jenna's voice. "Does he even know?"
No.
"And he never will."
I didn't step in. Didn't yell.
I walked back out, sat in my car, and stared at the wheel for hours. The next morning, I ordered a DNA test. Days later, when the kid arrived, I waited until my boy was asleep, collected the swab, sealed it, mailed it. Then I waited.
Hope not at me.
Fear whispered. The results arrived. 3 words. Not the father. No tears. No rage. Just silence. A silence so heavy it crushed the air around me. Because betrayal like that doesn't just hurt, it unravels you. The next day, I placed the envelope in Harper's hands. "Open it." Confusion flickered. Then dread spread as she read. Her body stiffened. Her face crumbled. She stammered that she thought it no longer mattered, that I once said I'd be okay regardless. But that was never true. I only believed because she let me believe. I looked her in the eye and said, "It's over. The wedding's off. Pack your things. Take your son.
Leave."
She begged.
She wept.
But I turned away. Days later, court papers arrived. Harper was suing me for child support. After all the lies, all the silence, all the betrayal, she wanted me to pay for a child who wasn't mine. In court, I told it all. The DNA proof. The overheard words. The deception. But the judge said because my name was on the birth certificate, I was legally responsible. That erasing me now could damage the child. No one asked what the lie had done to me. But I didn't stop. I filed a petition to disestablish paternity. I presented the test, the truth, the deception. This time, justice answered. My name was removed. No more support. No more ties. Just freedom. A hollow, aching freedom. But freedom all the same.
I still think of that boy.
I still wonder if he'll one day ask where I went. If he'll ever learn the truth. But one thing remains clear. Harper never gave me the chance to choose. And no man deserves to have fatherhood forced upon him through a lie. Let this stand as a reminder. Silence can cut just as deep as deceit.